FearFishing Experiment. us live right here on the FearFishing Experiment.
It's been a crazy 48 hours here. I want to thank, first off, everybody who messaged my family sending condolences about our beloved Bailey who passed away. I just drove Ash home, and that absolutely means the world to my family, and especially meant the world to Ashton. We had the truck breakdown today. Big thanks to the folks at R&J Tire who came and got it fixed. They diagnosed the problem. They will get it back ready to roll midweek. Amazing people. Next, we are doing the FearFishing Experiment tonight. I miss my homies. I miss my friends. I am doing this because I know two guys who took home some blue trophies. I don't want to say their names, but I'm sure you know who they are. We're going to get them on the phone. We're going to chat with them. It is going to be a big show. We're going to talk bass. We're going to talk life. We're going to talk everything with some of my favorite people. And you can get in. Just drop comments on the IM board, and we will get them in the show too. It's going to be a wild night. Life is too short to miss great opportunities to share with you. We'll see you at 8 p.m. on the FearFishing YouTube or Facebook channel. Let's do this, kids.
Report suspicious activities and call 911 for immediate response. Expect delays, searches of personal property, and restricted access to public buildings. Expect traffic delays and restrictions.
Man, on a smallmouth bass.
Hold that up. Sure. Oh my gosh, that's a big fish.
You know what? It turned out into like cinematic genius. It's just beautiful.
The idea is just keep rolling.
Navigating your way on and off the water. Now, here's your host, Ian West.
Good evening, everyone out there in Facebook, YouTube land. Welcome to the FearFishing Experiment. I'm your host, Ian West. It's been a trying couple weeks, but we have made it back to the program. Before we get into introducing the guy to the left of me and the rest of the crew, give that a like, a share, a subscribe, and drop a comment. Let us know you're listening. Giver.
Big show tonight, man. I'm so excited.
Are you so excited?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Mark from Bowmanville. As always, to the left. Yeah.
To the left.
You know what? Two guys.
Is it to the right or to the left?
To the left.
Yeah.
That's what I
Two
thought.
guys that we really
Shout out
support
to
on the
Beyonce.
show are going to be on the show, and they got
I'm pretty
the
excited
trophies.
about this.
This is amazing.
We got we got a big show. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How are you, miss?
I'm good. I'm Amber from Coburg.
I feel like...
Is that better for you?
You're my Jay-Z to my Beyonce.
You're Beyonce then?
I am, because he's to my left, and you're wearing the New York Rangers, Yankees hat.
Rangers.
Jay-Z made that more popular than
Who am I
Yankees
then?
could. I don't know. Whoever she's talking about.
What? This is a classic. Jay-Z didn't make
He made
that.
it more famous than the
No, it's
Yankees
not
could.
why I
That's
wear
what it says in the song.
Oh, right. You're right.
It does.
I know. You're right.
Sean, welcome to the show.
What's up?
Not much. How are you?
Not bad. Big day.
Yeah, you
from?
had a big day.
yeah.
Big day for me.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It's been an
Roller coaster.
like a roller coaster of ups and downs, good news, bad news. But we're here to share it all. Where do
Thankfully,
you want to
Sean
start?
has some good news.
We got 11 minutes until we got to call our first guest in.
Tell us your big news, Sean.
Yeah, let's start with that. I'd rather do happy stuff than sad stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Do it.
Okay. Well, everybody knows that unfortunately we lost our dog there, our young dog, back in June, and we've had a really tough time struggling with it. And my girlfriend and I we're finally ready to get another puppy, and we went through a process. We had a dog that we adopted today, all the way from the Bahamas. She's a pot cake.
I love that.
That's the.
You should call her Brownie.
Yeah. No. We actually named her Kiva, and
Nice.
that's it. It's Gaelic for beautiful.
Aw.
And my girlfriend picked it out.
Not like Sean is Gaelic for dumbass.
That's
coming
funny.
across.
That's actually pretty good. That was
Just
good.
kick him underneath the table.
Yeah.
You can reach him.
Yeah. So today this morning we got up, and I had a plan in my head. I wanted to go up and see my grandmother, and take my girlfriend up there. And I told my grandmother that I was going to ask her to marry me. And
Wow.
my grandmother was really happy, and she's like, when? I'm like, I think today. So on the way home, like we were on a super tight schedule, and we were racing back down the 115, and we were talking about what the dog's last name's going to be. And Jamie was like, well, I think it should be Francis because I'm going to be the one taking it to the vet all the time. And I'm like, wow, are you going to take my name when you marry me? She was like, well, yes, of course. I said, well, what if I asked you to marry me right now? And she was like, really? And I reached in, I pulled the ring out of my pocket, and I reached out to hold her hand, and she held my hand, and she felt the ring, and she was like, what? She's like,
Wow.
this is happening right now.
Where was this, in the truck?
I'm like on the 115, right at the
While you're driving.
Right by
That's
East Hiller
distracted driving, buddy.
Yeah, but through that whole conversation, like it was a longer conversation. Like,
I'm
well,
sure.
like
I've heard her talk. I know it was
I
longer.
serenaded her with love before I asked her. But fortunately, she said yes and made me the happiest man on the planet today. So,
Did you have a backup
I'm
plan
getting
if she
married.
said no?
Did
Did you have a plan here?
I had an ejector seat put.
Yeah. She had his finger on her seatbelt.
Right? Yeah. So no, I would never. But she is. She's the most wonderful woman in the world. I went and I asked her father on the weekend.
That's awesome.
I sat with him for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And I had the talk with him. I put the ring on his desk, and he came back in from the washroom, and I said, well, what do you think of that? And he was like, what do I think of what? I said, that right there. He turns around, and he's seen it. I had it open on the desk with the ring, and he's like, he turns around, he looks at me, he's like, are we going to have that talk? I said, yes, sir, we're going to have that talk right now. He said, well, I'm looking forward to you being my son-in-law.
Aw.
Really?
That's
eh?
awesome.
He's
How
like-
how special did that make you feel,
Oh
bud?
man,
That's awesome.
He said, he's like, I really want to have that relationship with you. I want you to know that. And I wanted to go out and ask her right there, but I
had to
wanted to wait for the moment, right?
Oh, I don't know how you did that.
So, yeah, it was tough.
And the
Yeah.
moment was we're driving down the 115. You're such a romantic guy.
it was coming up all day,
Yeah.
all this stuff.
So you got engaged, and then you went and got the dog.
We went and got our dog, yeah, and we this dog, it actually picked us.
Yeah.
We went through the board of directors that approved us, and they recommended the dog. The one lady recommended the dog for us, and she was like, and Jamie was like, well, let's see that dog first. So this dog came in, and this dog was all over us, just loved us, sat in our laps, put her head on our shoulders, and I was like, we weren't even in there 5 minutes, and I said, well, let's do the paperwork. And Jamie
That's
looked
awesome.
at me, and she was so happy, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. She's like, well, do you want to see another one first? I said, okay, I'm going to tell you right now. If we see another one, it's
We'll
coming with
take
us
two.
too.
Yeah, it would take two.
Right? So make your decision.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she's like, well, maybe we'll start with one. Right?
Right.
Good plan.
Yeah. So that was my day. Big
That's
day.
awesome.
I'm super pumped and the luckiest guy on the planet today, man.
That's awesome. That's
Like it's a
great
little
news.
overwhelming for me too because I didn't know any of this, and I'm your best buddy, and you said it all in one sentence. It's like fur baby wedding.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Nobody really knew I was going to do it except for her parents and my brother and sister. I kept it real tight. I didn't want
of
word
course.
getting back to her or anybody knowing. And
Yeah.
because I
super
wasn't
exciting.
sure when it was going to happen. Like I knew it was going to happen soon, but I just you'll know.
It's gotta
when
be
the
a
moment's
moment,
Just
right.
waiting
Yeah.
for that perfect spot in the 115.
Yeah.
Right by East Hill.
Right by East Hiller doors.
No.
You guys gonna have your
Whereabouts on the
bachelorette?
115?
That-
Where was a special moment?
She said yes, and I looked up, and we were at Porter Road.
Porter
Yeah,
Road.
we were at
eh?
Porter Road, so that'll forever hold a Porter Road.
Porter Road.
Hold a heart spot in my
Should
heart.
name the dog Porter.
Yeah.
No, her name is Kiva.
Kiva.
Yeah,
How do you spell that?
It's gonna stay Keeva, but in Gaelic it's like SGO 7
Roman
5.
numeral 6.
Upside down three.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
just crazy,
DUMB.
right? It's just easier. if we
SMRT.
spell- Yeah, just
That's
easier
awesome.
for the vets, right? If we just spell it Kiva as it sounds.
It's been a crazy couple of weeks. The something big happened. What it is not. Kate, we had 2 big weekends in a row at the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Oh yeah, we did.
Huge, like ginormous,
I didn't think we could top last weekend. Last weekend was unbelievable.
unbelievable.
It was.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know if we topped it, but
I
it's
don't-
still a damn.
It
good
was really good,
Yeah.
but last weekend, because it's the hometown boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think another tournament can top that, man.
No.
The first
It was
ever?
exciting. Like the getting the monkey out the bat for the Canadian guys was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first person,
in the door.
first person ever to win a Bassmaster Elite event from Canada. It happened.
It did, sure.
After how many years?
Oh,
The
was
first
the
year,
50th,
second year.
The 50th
Well, I
anniversary.
mean,
Oh,
of Canadians being in the elites. I mean,
I think there's been Canadians over the years and nobody won. What's his name was from, But,
Well,
they
Carl Sims, he went and he fished the classic.
Classic,
right?
yeah.
I'm
he
not
did.
sure.
There was
We
somebody
didn't
else
fish the
before that.
elites.
Yeah, I think there was one more Canadian.
Maybe
I think there was too.
research on that.
But realistically, over the last 50 years, any Canadian who could have made it could have won it. So
Yeah.
it took
Yes.
50 years.
51 years.
51.
This would be the 51st season of the Bassmaster. But what is the elites now? I guess you would explain it because it's changed titles about 20 times over
I
that.
think the first one was in 71, the year I was born.
Wow.
That was a good year.
Isn't that amazing?
Good mint.
Was meant to be.
Yeah.
71.
I'll keep going to watch.
71. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Unbelievable.
it was exciting to watch. We were watching at the East Hill. We were cheering Chris on. It looked like he was going to win. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it was building to this. Last year he had the same 3-day run, and then on the last day he fell just an inch short. So I can't wait to ask him. Like, did that play into his head on day 4 this year? Like,
Oh, it must have.
yeah, for sure.
It must have. And the weather was
it not?
brutal.
The
Yeah,
really
yeah.
exciting part about this is it blew up in Canada. Major mainstream news channels covered it.
It was a heritage moment.
Yeah,
or something.
absolutely.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, it
like
was.
right away.
I think that was a
That was a meme, wasn't
masturbator.
it? Yeah.
Was it?
heritage
Was it a
moment.
joke?
Yeah.
Well, it looked legit.
It should
It
be
did.
one.
They
though.
did a good
I
job.
bought it.
Obviously. They're actually watching us right now.
Who's that?
Nice.
Masturbators.
They're good. I like. Yeah, they're saying they're even having a parade. We're gonna get information on
Oh, yeah. We'll
I
be
saw
there.
on
that.
Chris's parade.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
How would you not, being a fan? How would you not show up?
There we go. I just got a comment. John Bondi was the first Canadian in the elite.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Masturbators wants to know if they can buy your boat now for cheap.
Buy my boat for cheap.
Yeah.
The
Now
ring-
that you're engaged
the,
now.
the ring's already paid for, man. So I don't,
Wait
I
till
don't
he's
know.
buying a house, which is soon, I'm sure.
yeah.
So.
Hopefully when your
Yeah.
motor goes,
Yeah.
she'll
Yeah.
forgo something for you.
I don't know, that motor's tight.
Do we want to give Chris a call? We're a couple of minutes
Absolutely.
early, but I'm sure he's ready to roll. Here we go.
We're gonna get him on the phone right now.
Yeah,
Lots
The
of
first
congrats
ever.
to you, Sean.
it's crazy, man.
Lots of comments of
I'm
congrats.
This is like getting turned down from a marriage proposal. He must not be ready.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Not bad. Just putting a little one to bed. Sorry.
Not a problem, my man. How's it feel to be the first Canadian Bassmaster Elite Series champion?
It's pretty hard to describe. It's honestly a huge relief at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like to win on the St. Lawrence, I couldn't ask for any better place. It was a little different this year because last year there's probably 1,000 Canadians there on the shore when you come in. This year is a little different, but still, just to win on kind of your home body of water for your first tournament's pretty incredible feeling.
Well, since you brought up last year, and we were just talking on it last year, we were just talking about last year, rolling into the day 4 and what happened last year. Did that cross your mind at all?
Not really. I kind of the night before, I was kind of thinking, like, to be honest, my best chance at beating Mueller is probably going to be with this wind, even though it's going to suck to go out there and fish. It's probably my best chance of catching him because if it's dead calm again, he's probably going to catch him again, which means I need about 27. So I was kind of looking forward to it, and I knew I had some fish semi-close to the river, like just out of the mouth there, and I knew I could get to them. So, no, I was looking forward to it. It was nice being in second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice sometimes to not be the leader, right? You do know what I mean? Like Mueller took some of the pressure of like the reporting off you.
Yeah, but I still like this tournament. On most tournaments, you're like, "Oh, I'm in second. The pressure's on the guy in first." But I still feel like on the St. Lawrence, the pressure was still on me to try and catch him and beat him. Just everyone kind of expects it there, and
Like the whole country of Canada.
so well. But I didn't want to disappoint, that's for sure.
Like, did you really have no cell service there?
Apparently.
Yeah, it was like
The
Chris's
cameraman said,
weight
"Once
is
you get
not
in the
going
river,"
anywhere.
I actually came in with probably an hour and a half to spare. It didn't take near as long as I thought. He's like, "Oh, I'm just buying back all the feed because we had no service out there."
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like, Do you like having the camera boat, or would you rather do it without the camera boat in any event?
Oh, the camera's cool. Especially when you're catching them, it's great entertainment. When you're having a tough day, it kind of gets to you. But I'd rather have a camera boat just for the fact that everyone back home gets to see how you're doing, cheer you on, and the sponsors obviously love it. So the more you're on camera, the more the sponsors like it.
On Championship Sunday, Chris, I was watching on Bassmaster, like we all were, and you actually had a fish jump into the boat.
Yeah.
Like a missile. That video, I haven't really seen it yet, but I was fighting it again, and something similar happened the first day. I was fighting it and just kind of come up really lazy, didn't jump. And then it's just sitting 5 feet below the boat, and then all of a sudden it just went bananas and jumped straight into the boat, cleared the gunnel, and nosedived into my console.
I believe your exact quote was "as if."
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, completely cleared the side of the boat. Normally they run, like, they'll jump into the boat and come off, or like into the side of the boat and come off or something. But things were going right that day.
Absolutely.
Clearly.
The whole 4 days went pretty right for you. How has it been? And we're going to get to some questions from fans. So if anybody's got any questions out there for Chris, let us know. How has it been, the response from back home since winning? I know you guys got a parade. I saw some mainstream media.
I don't know about a parade.
Well, we've been invited.
I saw
to a
the
parade.
poster. It's official.
I even got a message saying that there was like a catered thing afterwards.
What's that?
I even got a message today saying that there was a catered event after this parade. So, like, this is happening now. But
I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I'm not part of the planning. I think it's, 20, 30 people are going to get together and have a couple beers and relax. But who knows? They might have something else in store. You never know with that crew.
How with the media response and the Facebook blowing up as soon as you won, how has that been? I even saw something on CTV News about you winning the event.
That was really cool. I don't think there's ever been fishing promoted on City TV News or anything like that. So that's really cool, just to see for the fishing industry as a whole in Canada.
Yeah.
Kind of getting some recognition, and the social media was like blowing up. I actually spent about 2 hours today just responding to people, and just everyone congratulating me, saying they're proud of me, and from back home in Canada, we're putting us on the map and stuff. And it's really cool that I have the opportunity to kind of promote Canada and some of the anglers that don't get a chance to go fish in the States, and I get a chance to represent all anglers from Canada, kind of. So it's really neat.
100%. It's really shown the class of anglers that is here that nobody knew about only a few years ago.
Yeah, sorry, you broke up there.
I was just saying that you've really got to, with the recognition from you, Chris, and Corey and Gussie, and what you guys have said about anglers back home. Like, Americans that never knew there was this kind of talent here 5 years, 6 years ago. You've really created a buzz for everybody who's fishing up here.
Yeah, and I hope it's kind of inspired a few more Canadians to chase their dream. It is doable to get down to the States and fish on the larger scene, and maybe make some money at it. So I'm hoping there's some more Canadians that can get down there and do well, and hopefully they'll be fishing against them one day down there.
Chris, what's it like fishing on ESPN2?
To be honest, I don't think about that when I'm out there. It's I'm just going fishing. So whether it's on Bass Live or ESPN, which is awesome for the sport, but I don't get to see it like you guys. I still haven't seen a clip on ESPN or anything like that. I'm just worried about getting 5-pounders in the boat, because those smallies have a mind of their own.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I'm not having a tongue quest. At any point during the 4 days, was there a part where you were like, what part where you were like, I really got a shot here, like this is gonna happen? Or was it on day 4, a part in the big waves that you realized that I want?
No, even in the big waves, I wasn't super convinced I won. I think on the last fish, I said, well, I had about 2 hours and 20 minutes to get back, which was way more time than I should have left. But I was like, I caught a 4.5. I'm like, well, this is it. We got our weight. I figured I had about 22 and change. I'm like, this way at least Mueller's got to catch 20 pounds to beat me, which can be tough on those windy days, but that's not hard to do for him out there as well. So I wasn't super convinced I had to win, but to be honest, I was shocked kind of after day 2 and 3 when he just kept catching them, and he was on the mother load. So it was tough to keep up to his pace, but I did everything I could, and that 10 years of knowledge on that lake, I had to put some of it to use on days 2 and 3, just checking old water.
That is, it's really like for people at home, I don't think they understand the like how tough the race to those 20 fish are. Like when you know that really well, and then to come in and find out that wow, he got them again, and wow, he found them again. Do you know, like, explain like the whole process of that level of fishing? Because it's not like a CSFL day 1 event, right?
It's on your mind a lot, and it was really tough for me because I was getting my fish by, I shouldn't say tough, but 10:30, 11 o'clock. And at what point do you say, I'm not going to catch anymore because you're catching 4.5 pounders that aren't helping you? Yeah. But then you come back to weigh in, and all of a sudden he's got 25 again, and you had 24. It's like, wow, I should have caught some more fish. It's really tough mental game. Luckily, hopefully it worked out. Well, I'm sure it did. I didn't beat up on a couple spots, and there was enough fish there on day 4 when it was windy that they were easier to catch because I didn't beat on them too bad.
Yeah, that must be a really hard decision to make, not to lean on them too hard. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I had like 4 hours on days 1, 2, and 3 that I didn't go to any good stuff. I was still fishing, don't get me wrong, and trying to get a big one, but my numbers areas, I didn't want to burn them all up. So it's a huge mental game, and then you come in and kind of get kicked right in the bag there. Yeah.
Well, here I got a question.
After 3 days, you're like, oh man, I should have tried even a little more.
Going into the event, did you expect the weights to be that high? Like, did you have a number where you were like 22 pounds a day is going to do this, or did you have like I need 26 a day? And then through the event, did that number like keep growing?
So, well, going into the event, I didn't think the lake was fishing that well. I thought 22, 23 pounds, I'd be happy on day 1. But I did say I think I got some big ones in the river, and I got a better chance of getting a big bag in the river. But unfortunately, it was kind of an obvious spot, so it was only good for 1 day. Mm-hmm. But I was shocked at how good the weights were coming out of the lake. So I figured like 23 pounds a day would be good.
I got a question from YouTube.
Yep.
Daryl Taylor wants to know if the Canadian water was open, would you have had a bigger bag?
Well, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm. What was that? I couldn't hear.
If the Canadian water was open, would you have had a bigger bag, do you think?
Yes, I do think so.
Yeah.
I think if the Canadian water was open, would have been able to crack 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
Wow.
How tough is that, knowing that you can go out there and you could be in the Century Club and then having that border shut to you?
I'd rather take the win any day. So that's a nice thing to kind of put on the top, icing on the cake. But that's still out there for another tournament, try and win that. But I'm just happy I got the win. But if that Canadian water was open, it just there's a couple areas that I know pretty well, and you could go over there in 20 minutes, maybe get a couple 5s and 6s. So maybe next year they'll let us go to the lake and the Canadian water will be open, but I'm not counting on it.
Yeah, was it the whole plan the whole time to open the lake, or did they only do that because they had to close down the Canadian side?
The main reason they opened the lake up is because we went out of Clayton instead of Waddington.
Yep.
But I have a funny feeling next year we're going back to Waddington. They've actually already told us we're going back to Waddington, and Waddington doesn't really like Lake Ontario getting all the promotion.
Gotcha.
Because they're hosting events, so they don't want 4 of the top 10 winning it in Lake Ontario because they want people coming to Waddington, which
makes sense. Yeah.
But, so that is what it is.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect business sense, and that's what this is a business.
Okay, I got a good question for you, I think, there, Chris. Okay, it's day 3, the evening of day 3. How does Chris, Corey, Seth, Gussie, how do they act differently going into the next day? Like how would what goes on the night before? Because in this event,
Corey
Like,
was
is it party time? Let's celebrate this, or is it I'm in bed at 8 o'clock, or how would you each guy treat
No,
that night
and
differently?
that's a great question. And Corey was in the top 10, but Corey would have needed to catch 45 pounds to catch you, right?
Yeah.
Like, so did
no, it was more along the lines of just get rods ready by the time you get dinner, and maybe fix a couple things on your boat or whatever rigging, and get to bed by 10. And there's a lot of saying don't suck, and you better catch tomorrow. So some stuff along those lines, and they all had a couple beers, but by day 3 everyone's kind of burnt out. There's no partying or anything like that.
Huh.
It's business, and just getting their jabs in and saying you better win it.
Okay, what about the evening of day 1?
Give us something good.
Yeah, you got any juice here? That's funny. What about
No, it's like we're up at 4 a.m. You don't have a lot of energy now. After the win, if we didn't have to go straight to Champlain, yeah, we would have had some beers and kick back a little bit. But we didn't have an off day, so
Yeah,
it was all business.
and you just had your first off day. Have you even had a chance to celebrate your win yet? Because right from your win, you were in your truck and you were gone to Champlain.
Yeah, so after I won, I got out of Clayton at about 7 p.m., got to Champlain at about 10:30, and then got some rest, got up at 7 in the morning. Practice started that morning. Most people are on the water by 6, and I got all my rods rigged that morning, got on the water about 9:30, and I just got home yesterday. So, no, I
Doesn't even know.
I haven't had a lot of downtime still.
Do you got any questions there, Sean, that we can throw by Chris before we let him go? I know he's a busy man. We don't want to keep him all night. The last time you were here, we did this for what, 6 hours?
Something like that.
It was a 4-breaker, I think.
Yeah.
And a bottle of whiskey.
Couple 2-4s.
Well, here's that. Well, Sean looks for this. The Elite Series is extended into the fall this year, October and November tournaments. How's that going to affect you and Corey's hunting season?
Oh.
Well, it's going to throw a curveball into it for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Reliance on buddies maybe do a little extra work and pull their weight this year, so they can check cameras and have everything set up when we get home, probably the first week of November.
Right. I got a question from Mike Schuler here. It's for Chris. Why are no nets allowed in the Elite Series, and is it good or bad in your eyes?
It adds an extra element of kind of skill, and it makes it more interesting, I think, from watching from a camera point of view. The guy's got to grab the fish. Don't get me wrong, there's some days I'd love to have a net, but I think it makes it more interesting without a net, and just makes it better entertainment. I don't know the exact reason, but I'm sure back in the day anglers voted and said no nets. So
was there ever nets in
okay.
bass?
I'm not sure. Okay, so if you're doing a tournament here, you got a net on your boat?
Or do you practice?
Oh yeah,
you don't
100%.
practice? Huh. Interesting.
I'll have a net on the boat in a tournament. I never practice. Like, if I'm practice fishing, I'll never use a net. But in a tournament, like when you got a 5-pound smallmouth hooked on a jerk bait or something, and the hooks are flying and you're trying to get them in the boat, it's no fun without a net. But on the other hand, it makes it more entertaining for fans and viewers, and everyone has the same problems.
I never thought about this before. Like, when you guys jumped from FLW to bass, there must have been a little bit of a learning curve to not use the net, right?
To be honest, I never really thought about it much until I got fishing. I'm like, man, I suck at trying to land fish with no net. Like, when you try and bring a fish in hot, you bring him in and you scoop him with the net, he's gone. But when he's thrashing at the side of the boat, there are definitely techniques at grabbing them without getting a hook in your hand.
Yeah, for sure there is.
How many times have you hooked yourself? How many times have you hooked yourself?
Oh, no, knock on wood. I never have.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Way
You know
to go,
what?
Sean.
And like, again, Chris wouldn't be watching, but there's some pretty awkward fish grabbing that goes on the Elite Series.
There is, yeah.
Right? Like some like
weekend.
whatever you can do.
They're up to their shoulders in the water.
No,
Right? The belly grab is a very popular, like the scoop.
Like a football.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I want to ask you, Chris. How do you make a smallmouth just lie dormant in your hand? Every time I go
Fish
for them,
whisper.
they're gone, man. It's on.
It's a fish whisper thing.
Well, that's something I've had to play with, and I'll fight the fish a little longer than what I would with a net, so that when I get them to the side of the boat, they're not going crazy jumping. So I do fight them a little longer, but once you get them under the belly, it actually kind of relaxes them. It's almost like lipping them.
Yeah.
that they don't thrash. It's just that initial getting your hand under the belly and getting them out of the water.
Do you tickle or not
Then they
tickle?
kinda-
Is there a little tickle?
Yeah, I give them a little tickle with,
Yeah.
with my middle finger.
I got a question. I got a
Fire
question
away. We
from
got to
Fourth
let him go here in a
Bassin.
minute. Okay, go.
How did you get hooked up with rooming with Seth and Grow?
How did I get hooked up with rooming with them?
Yeah.
Gus, we were kind of rooming with Gussie with FLW. We were traveling with him, and Gussie was buddies with Fighter. So when we made the switch over to Bassmaster, we got talking. Like Gussie set it up with Fighter, and he said, "Yeah, let's do it together, and we'll split all the costs. And it saves us a bunch of money."
Yeah.
And now we've become pretty good friends with them.
I've been drinking with Seth, Chris, and you and Corey, so I can see why it was a match made in heaven right from the start.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He might be in the hospital right now.
Yeah, he's having a baby.
Whole time. She's
Yeah.
She's due to have a baby like a couple days ago.
10-pounder.
10-pounder.
It's gonna be a Vegas.
Anyway, Chris, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a very busy man, and you're trying to make her happen with the family time at home, so we won't keep you anymore. Congratulations on the win. That's a super amazing accomplishment, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys, and have a good night.
Yes, you
Thank
too,
you.
my friend. Thank
We'll
you.
see you at the
Congratulations.
parade.
Yeah,
Great.
Let me know where it is.
Later, my man.
Bye.
Isn't that super cool?
That was.
Could
wild.
you imagine being the first ever Canadian angler to win something like that?
No.
And you like he's in the first Donovan Bailey or Ben Johnston. I guess he cheated, but you know what I mean. Like Donovan Bailey to be the first Canadian to win the 100-meter race.
You know?
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
fishing is an American conquered sport, right? Like
Historic.
Except for hockey. Oh, not. Sorry.
but fishing.
Sport. Yeah,
but you know
fishing.
what I mean? Like over the years,
I thought you said sports.
Takahiro, like
He's the only
like
guy
you know
in
what I
the whole
mean?
country to have a blue trophy.
yeah.
Like the historic. It's
It is
unbelievable.
unbelievable, and you know, like it's been huge because I've watched him to grow. Like,
oh yeah, we all have.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm a few years older than they are, but I remember when I got started, Chris and Corey, like making plateaus to get to there. And Chris is right. If you're a young person out there, it's not going to be easy, but you can make it to where they are. Mm-hmm. Right?
Time on the water.
A lot of
Time on the water,
sacrificing.
a lot of sacrifices, right? We're going to talk to Brandon Palaniuk, who won Champlain over the weekend, here in about the middle of the show. But, there's a guy who grinded it out the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's got a great story of coming from Idaho. Like, like if you were thinking about epic centers
Up
of
through the
bass
nation,
fishing,
right?
Yep.
Up to the club
Idaho,
level.
the first guy to win a Bassmaster Elite in Idaho is probably as good as the first Canadian to do it, right? Like Idaho's not on the map of
Bass
hardcore bass fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the thing that there's something that the closest event to Brandon is something like 41 hours, like driving.
Yeah,
Drive.
he
Yeah,
has
do you
to
remember
drive a
that?
lot,
Where-
Oh yeah, it's not like he's right in the
He's
middle
not,
of
no,
things.
no. He's, and where he's from in Idaho, I believe it's right up at the Alberta border. Like
Wow.
he's way up.
He
there.
might as well be a Canadian.
He's farther
Right, he's
away
nice-
than our
he's
boys
nice
are.
enough.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
yeah, way
Right? Like,
farther
think
away.
about how long
Yeah.
it would take if they were going to, like, realistically, Corey and Chris could make it to Waddington in 6 hours,
Probably not even 6 hours. I wouldn't think.
right? If Brandon had to drive from home, he'd be 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah.
Like, if they were stopping. So, it's inspiring stuff like that for the next generation to hear, because we need more Canadian boys, young people who are going to inspire to make their dreams happen.
And just to show you guys it's possible, I think I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Might as well.
You're
That's a
going to
good
sign up?
try. Yeah.
Might as well.
Listen, if you're going to go fish the opens, I'll drive the truck and boat for you.
Perfect.
I'll just be a roadie. That'd be a great job.
Oh, he would love it.
Who's
Yeah.
cooking?
I'll cook.
Oh, he likes cooking.
I'll cook and drink.
Yeah, we went through that at Bear Camp. Remember
Yeah.
that? Hot
Well, we can
dog-
do more than hot dogs.
dogs
We gotta
for
do-
weeks.
We got to do bear camp again.
I was thinking about it too.
We were
but what?
invited
Listen,
up to come.
We
listen,
do.
why
Let's do
don't
it.
I could cook for you on the road? I could drink during the day, right? I back you in the morning.
So you're
We
going to
can
get
find-
day drunk and then cook at night?
Yeah.
And then drive in the morning.
I could get one of those Camp Chef drills and just like we could make this right at the rim. We wouldn't even have to get a place to stay. One-stop shop, fear fishing, cooking.
Yeah, I know there was a bunch of questions there that I got to apologize to people. Miss out. I had my my Facebook shut off and then come back on. And
Well, here
and
the
I
other
lost a
thing
bunch.
too is that we didn't want to keep Chris for very long. Let's talk about the reality You
He
know,
just got home.
just got home.
Yeah.
Like it was very nice, and he actually did a lot longer than he told me he had time to do. He like, I know people like if you're a tournament angler in Ontario, it takes up a lot of time. If you're a tournament angler in another country, it takes you even more time. So I'm really sorry that we didn't get to questions. We can probably keep Brandon on the line a little longer than Chris.
Yeah, well, no, these guys go down there to practice. They're down there for the week before, and
Yeah.
they're on the water all day, every day, sun up till sundown.
Plus, he's got a baby.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they make a ton of sacrifice. You know, they're
Yep.
away from their young kids. Mm-hmm.
Well, he hasn't been home for what, 2 weeks?
3, I think.
Is it?
And this is not new, because if you there was a tournament on Rice Lake 10 years ago on a Monday morning before the event. Chris and Corey's boats would be at the Indian River at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they pre-fished the snot out of the event. This is not like a new sacrifice, and I maybe some people miss that. I know a lot of people miss that in like just in what I do, is that nobody saw like my first boat, my second boat, my third boat, and our first video and our second video or my 100th video. They just saw like a couple years ago. Chris and Corey have been working at this since they
20
were
years?
10.
Since they were kids.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Little tiny kids.
Yeah, they're already 20 years in.
Yeah.
When did they, I think they won their first tournament at what, 12 or
Chris was
Corey,
11.
yeah, Corey.
12?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Corey won his first tournament. Corey probably had more wins by 16 when he got his driver's license than most people see in their life.
Me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the
I
commitment.
can't even make the classic.
Realistically, if you're like, we're talking like facts and numbers, there's only 80 guys on the Bassmaster Elite Series, right? You have a way better shot at playing in the NHL for 20 years than you ever thought of cashing a check on the Elite Series,
That's a good point.
right?
Yeah.
If you added the fact that you can enter the Opens and you don't have to qualify, you still have a better chance of getting the Toronto Maple Leafs to sign you a check than you have making one there. It's not easy.
Really? I might give that a go too.
But
Maybe we
do
can
you
drive
know
the
what I mean?
Zamboni.
Like how many guys are on an
stick you in
NHL
that.
team? There's 30 some odd teams. That's way more guys than fishing 80 guys on the Elite Series. Mm-hmm. Right? That's way more guys than MLF, FLW, and the Elite Series combined. It's crazy. It's crazy like how awesome this is that Chris won. When you start thinking about that, and then what you said, how amazing this is.
Right.
That somebody from like
To be the first.
the beat of first,
Ever.
and he lives 20 minutes from my house.
I wonder how Corey feels about this.
I don't know. You want to call him?
Yeah, do it.
I bet you he's over the moon.
But for sure.
I bet you.
I bet
super
she is
stoked.
too.
I
Did you
think
see
there's-
that picture? Did you see the smile on
Yeah,
it?
I think
Yeah,
that
I
he's
did.
over
Corey's
the moon.
face.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
probably won't
That's
admit it, but I
legit.
bet you he's super stoked.
Well, think about it. Those
He
boys
can't admit it.
Those boys split money. Corey just won $50,000.
Yeah. Do they still split it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So
they-
when they were
Sure.
here
They're a
last time
team, man.
drinking,
Why
they were
wouldn't they?
were splitting. Do you know what I mean? I'd be
Yeah.
smiling too if my brother cast a $100,000 check and I knew we were splitting.
they are
And
a team.
where did Corey place?
Top 10, so
He was sick.
Yeah.
I believe,
he would have added to
A
the
good
pie.
check.
Like,
Corey's
15
been
grand.
tearing it up for the last 2 weeks, back to back.
so
top tens
that's
for that
another
guy.
thing that we missed, right? That realistically, St. Lawrence, Chris won. Champlain, he got 29th. Corey top 10 both. He's got more points going into Angler of the Year points
Yep.
Ooh.
for being more consistent.
And what's Angler of the Year get you?
A shirt.
100 grand.
100 grand.
Nice.
Oh, them. I
He
thought you meant
keeps it
not.
up.
And it'll change your life.
That's
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
yeah.
It's worth. I think that
Because
the
that's where
Angler
you
of
get
the
more
Year.
sponsorships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, Angler of the Year is the reason that Brandon was allowed to come back to back.
Well, think about-
yeah, that's kind of a big
Gerald
deal.
Swindle's one of the greatest anglers of all time. Won 2 Angler of the Years, and he's never won an Elite Series event or a Classic.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's I think that if we ask Brandon, and if somebody writes this down, we can ask Brandon what is more important. One win, the Classic, or that Angler of the Year. Right, that's an important question.
I would
but
say the Classic, but
I don't think so.
I'd say
I
the
think
Angler
that
of the
the
Year is
Angler of
second.
the Year, because I
Yeah.
think the Angler of the Year is number one because it's consistency over the whole tournament, not just pulling off 3 days of lucky fishing, right?
Right.
So that's a good question for
yeah.
Brandon, because Brandon finished second in his first ever Bassmaster Classic, lost to KVD, so he knows what that tastes like. He's an Angler of the Year, and he's I believe this is his third Bassmaster Elite championship.
Yeah.
You know what I surprised? I looked at the payouts for the elites today.
Yeah.
Just for some reason. I don't know why, but I did. It's amazing how heavy it is at the top. That would never fly with a series of this. I think it's $100,000 for first, and it's like $25,000 for second. Then it goes down. Then fourth to like 10th is $15,000. They're all getting the same money from that 4th to 10th.
And there's
spot.
nothing after?
There's 12,000 after that. A bunch of spots.
Yeah, you get
And then it pays you
10 grand down to-
$7,500 from like 50th to 80th.
Yeah, I think something like that.
So
But
at
you
least
got to
get
remember,
your
it's
money.
like $8,400 for the entry fee,
Yeah,
right?
at least
so
you get your
you're
gas money
getting
and-
your, you know,
Everybody gets a check right down to the last place.
Yeah.
You get $2,500.
yeah.
That's
right.
nice.
So it's not like a total kick in the pants, but if you finished last, you didn't break even. No, like, do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it still cost you money.
It's a participation ribbon, like I used to get in sports.
Now, let's throw this
They
over.
made them back then?
I got all kinds of participation ribbons on them.
Do we have any questions, comments that we need to get to before I jump topic?
I got one that said, oh, geez, where'd it go? There's so many questions. Oh, Chris Flay. Ian, your best video was your last one, Rad Dad, with Ashton's first bucket.
Well, that's what I was just heading to. We both, me, Sean, and Woody all did something cool. I got to take the Ashman fishing.
Mark, you did nothing.
No. Okay.
I took Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
Actually, Mike took
I did
me.
nothing, too.
Fishing with Mike is kind of like fishing with a child.
Sorry, Mike.
But I took Ashton fishing. So here, Ashton is not. He's been fishing a little bit, but probably not as much as people think, because it's not. I don't think it's fair for me to throw him in the boat and make him go. So I just kind of left it if it is. You're more than
can't
welcome.
force 'em.
You're more than welcome to come, and if you don't want to come, I'm all right with that too. You can do whatever you'd like around the house, but I'm going fishing. So the 2 weeks ago we went for the first time, and he asked to go, like openly asked if he could come with me, and I was like, yeah, 100%, we'll go tomorrow, right? And I told Kevin that I wasn't coming in. I'm going fishing with my kid. We didn't get to go to the lake I wanted to that was full of like 1-pounders because there were so many people, as we talked about last time. So I asked him again, do you want to go again? He was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, well, I told Kevin again, I'm going to take the day off, take you fishing. We drove 2 hours there, and we fished 4.5 hours because it was brutally hot. But when we got there, I was like, listen, I was like, you're a big enough boy now that I'm not going to help. If you need to like help casting, I'll show you how to do it. But I was like, you got to catch your own fish. When that little boy hooked that fish, he went out of his mind. I'd never seen him so
I
happy.
love the scream.
Dude, I watched it like 10 times. It was good. Yeah.
Me too.
He was very like, and you know, he was here today, and he had to do some. We'll get into this, but he had some tough time. And then before he left, and I dropped him off his mom, he asked if we could go fishing again next week. So that's good. I feel better that I didn't force him into
I
this.
think
Right?
you did the right thing.
I didn't, you know.
Otherwise,
he's been
he'd
in
just
a lot.
rebel.
He would be rebel. He goes.
Yeah.
He's got. You know, and he's in kind of a tough position because when he goes to the fishing show, everybody knows who Ashman is,
Right.
and says hi. And you know, it's got to be a little awkward for him sometimes because he was too young to know about fishing. He just knew that that's what Dad did, right?
Right.
So I didn't want to force him because I kind of felt like I was being like my dad forcing me to play hockey, and I just he would just hate it. So you want to come, the same rules apply. You want to come, I'll take the day off work and we'll go fishing. You don't want to come, that's totally cool with me too.
You're really lucky to have that opportunity and privilege to have the day off when you want it.
Yeah,
Fish
for
with
sure.
your
Yeah, well,
son.
Kevin's a great dude. He's a
He
big
is.
time family.
I
man.
wouldn't
He
say
is.
that I'm the world's greatest employee either. So
Yeah, you're not getting the plaque, dude.
realistically, it's just
You will not be on the wall.
So you're getting a demotion then?
Kevin, can I have the day off tomorrow? Yes, thank God.
Yeah, no, I had a pretty cool day on the water. Me and Woody.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Yeah, we had a really good day. Me and Woody got talking after the last podcast, and we set up a day to take his son Kevin out.
And Kevin's the opposite. Like Kevin, there is like the fish right there.
There he is.
But Kevin's kind of the opposite.
so into
Woody,
it.
because there's like this is a genetic thing passed down through the family. Like he wasn't told or pressured at all.
Yeah, no, he's 100% into it all on his own. Because I'm not an avid angler, but I grew up on a marina. So as you're talking about forced to play hockey, like I was forced to fish every single day.
Yeah.
Poor bugger.
No,
like if we were gonna
Hardcore.
eat, we were
Yeah.
eating fish that day. So it was a lot. So I didn't really do it in my adult life, but he out of the blue is just like wants to go fishing all the time. Talks about all he wants is to smash a big bass. Like that's all he wants.
Yeah, we're going out again.
So I've had Woody text me while you guys have been places, being like, "Hey, Kevin wants to know what the hot bait for this lake is going to be."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year we went up to Santa's Village, so I texted him like we're on this lake or river or whatever, and so he wants to know what he needs to throw here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's like Woody messaged me a couple days before. He's like, "Have you picked a lake yet?" Because I wanted to wait until it was closer to check the weather, right?
Yep.
And the weather was supposed to be a little bit windy and stuff, so I was like, "All right, why don't we fish a river system? We'll pick Seymour. We can stay in the river there. We're pretty protected, right?
Even if it's windy as snot, you can fish there.
Yeah. So on the way up there, Kevin was talking about. He's like, "Yeah, I want to fish the pads. I want to use my new frog."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're gonna jack a snapping turtle today."
What?
And I'm like, what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. He's
Okay,
like,
you're gonna tell the story.
yeah. He's like, "What are you gonna do when you hook a snapping turtle?" I'm like, "Dude, I've never caught a snapping turtle before." I'm like, "Hey, you don't know what you're talking about." In my head, I'm like, "Nobody catches snapping turtles." So we get there and we look over, and I'm like, "I want to start right over there, bud. We're gonna go over there." He's like, "I want to start in those pads over there."
How old's Gavin?
I'm like,
He's 6.
Yeah. I'm like, "All right, you want to start in the pads over there? We're gonna start in the pads over there." He's like, "Yeah, I want to tie on my new frog, man." He's like, "We're going to those pads." So we get over there and we get the guys all set up and get them fishing, you know. And I'm like, "All right, do, throw a few pitches in, whap. I whap a nice fish. I'm like, "All right, this is cool." We snap a couple pitchers. I'm like, "They're gonna be on today." Throw back in and, you know, whap, boom. And I set hook, and I'm like, "Oh, dude."
Yeah.
I'm like, I got a giant.
Oh, no.
And this thing is just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I'm like, boom, pulling it out of the pads. Woody's like, "Whoa." Kevin's like, "Yeah." this thing comes out of the pads, man. It's a friggin' snapping turtle.
Oh, my God.
I was like, I look at this kid, and I'm like, "All right, like, what do you know? Like, how do you call this stuff?" And he's just like, I just know, man. Like, that's just the way it is. Yeah. And I'm like, Woody, I'm looking at Woody. I'm like, I've never, ever seen this before. I've never caught a snap like this. And this thing hit. Yeah. This thing hit like a 5-pounder. Like,
really?
Whap!
That's awesome.
I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's the tug."
Yeah.
Like, my adrenaline just pumped.
That's insane.
You know, and I pinned this thing right in the roof of the mouth.
Aww.
You know, and
they do shake head.
Did you
Do
pick
they
it up?
really,
You should have picked it up for a picture.
The snapping turtle?
Yeah, man.
Well, I'll bring you next time, and you can do that, right?
Marley got one time in the autonomy, flipped into a tree, right? Same thing. He's like, "Here we go," sets hook, and it bent, loaded the rod.
Oh,
and it looked like a 5-pounder that was kind of like through a branch.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like the little lever. Marley brought up a great big snapping turtle.
Oh
yeah, I've caught gators.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was lucky enough to have the long needle nose pliers, and grabbed onto the hook. We popped it off real quick.
Yeah, nice and fast.
Real quick.
Like, was it a big one, or like?
How
What
big?
would you say? What
Show
would
us
you
how
say?
big.
It was
like a basketball.
Like, it was probably
Oh,
watermelon?
wow.
like that.
How much did it weigh?
It was like that. It was over 10 pounds.
Wow.
Since that day, though, and the story's been told about 1,000 times after, it's about the size of the boat, probably about 1,000 pounds.
Like a megadon.
It was big.
Yeah.
It was big. Yeah, no.
So Sean had set hook on the pads, and out came a megadon.
Right. Yeah, no, we had a fantastic day that day.
The Meg.
That's a cool story. He'll always remember that snapping turtle.
Yeah. So will I.
Yeah, I know you will.
Kevin's an interesting dude, man. I had a good conversation with him about dinosaurs for quite some time.
Yeah, he's an old soul.
Very.
Yeah.
Hey?
Oh, yeah.
You can sit down and have an adult conversation with a 6-year-old. You know,
Yep.
something's up.
Yep.
He was still going. Like, you were a great sport. Like, I was like, well, it's after lunch. We should probably go. Kevin's like, no. We're still going.
Oh, man.
Sean was in it for the day. And
My eyes, like my allergies were so bad. My eyes were on fire, running down my face. My nose was stuffed. And I'm like, whatever this kid wants, man.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That's awesome.
And Woody's like, he'll probably be done around lunch. And I'm like, whenever you guys want, man. Like, I'm good.
Throw the frog.
And this kid, like, we were on our way back to the boat launch, right? And I'm like, all right, we're going to pack it up. He's like, I want to go back to the pads. So I'm like, okay, turn the boat around. Here we go. Whatever you want.
Well, this all works out. This is headed to by the time Ash gets his license at 17, Kevin should be right around 14. So Woody will be able to sign the permission slip for them to fish tournaments.
There you go.
We probably
There you
got the comment, the connections to get them at least a couple Daiwa rods of reels, an Under Armour rain suit, and a boat.
Right?
They'll be just ripping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got ourselves a plan.
I wonder
here.
if Kevin will still be taller.
It's quite possible. Right? Ash will be like me, just fishing a million miles a minute,
Yeah.
and Kevin will know the spots. Hey, we should go fish those pads. Well, all right, let's do it on 50.
Oh yeah.
You guys got a rock star?
Right?
He's on YouTube studying, and like he'll go and research, and now he knows how to read and he's getting better, but he can just voice command the search term.
Yeah.
Like fishing spots for Lake Seymour. Like that's what he'll put in, and he's like weather patterns, fish patterns. Like he's
my
got
goodness.
all these things. And I'm not teaching it to him, so he's figuring it out.
That's awesome.
Good for
Yeah,
him.
we'll get out again.
He's
here
definitely
in
going
the
to smoke
next
you
couple
there,
weeks.
Woody, at the Perch Master Classic. You're done, bud.
I'm worried for next year for sure.
100%.
You know who I'm getting out with this week?
Who?
The champ.
Oh, yeah?
Yes,
Oh.
sir. Me and Mercer Marine are going to go wreck him on the queue.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That the queue being Quinny, not
Quinny.
the barbecue.
I was going to go to Quinny today. That was my plan. And I didn't go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we'll talk about that when we
Come back.
when we come back. You guys want to have a break and then we can talk for like 20 minutes and we can call Mr. BP?
Give me a second.
Oh, sorry.
Give Woody a minute, man.
Do we have any questions that we can
Oh my
answer?
God,
up
there's
before-
so many.
Oh, let's do some questions before we do that then.
How come you guys didn't fish sturgeon this weekend?
I don't want fish tournaments.
Yeah, we're not really fishing tournaments this week. Like we're fishing some smaller club stuff. But
Having fun.
We're spending time with people on the water like Woody and Cavan, And that's just where it is this year for us. We made a decision, all of us, to say, we want to put more time on the water doing fun stuff.
I want to have more fun,
Right.
Rather than have to.
And this
be
was
here.
well before COVID and any changes.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
series.
yeah.
Well,
last year we
This
and
was
everybody
decided in
should know at
February.
home there was like a whole other scheme of plans that were supposed to happen with 2020, and then COVID happened and it all got canceled.
Yeah.
Washed.
So the real plan is 2021 here,
Yeah.
right?
Or 22.
Or
But-
23.
But we got the belt.
we got
Right,
the belt.
we're going
Yeah.
out. We're doing some fun stuff with our buddies for the belt. Like that's tearing up our messages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was.
it's more about a fun year. I'm having a lot more fun, even though in the last 4 years this is the least amount that I've fished.
Yeah.
But it's been kind of nice to not fish so much either.
But you're working in a fishing store.
Yeah, so I
you're
get
getting
to talk
your tug.
fish. I get to talk fishing every day. So I was actually thinking last week because Kevin told me, he's like, if you want to go fishing, you can go fishing. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of in a way enjoying not having to fish and talking to these people.
See, where it's the total opposite for me. I've fished more this summer than I have in the past couple years. Like I got my boat back on the water, and I took some time off work, and I'm going out there, and I just feel. I feel like I'm getting it back a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they say, there's nothing like time on the water.
Got some nice ones, man.
Yeah. I've got a lot of really good ones. I got the chance to go out with the Fat Bass Apparel friends of ours, Lawrence and Sonny. I got to spend a day on Dalrymple with Lawrence, where I just jacked them, and then the next day we went to Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was another good day, and I jacked a monster on Cameron.
3.5.
But yeah,
Monster 3.5.
we'll put the photo up maybe after and
Put it this way, I
and-
had to buy him ice cream at the end of the
Really?
day.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And I skipped the ice cream and I went for the milkshake.
Yeah, he did.
Nice.
The $12 milkshake.
Yeah.
It's got So for the last 4 years, I probably fished 4 or 5 days a week. So in all honesty, I got to I can go fishing when I want. Like I'm not forced not to go fishing. Do you know what I mean? Like the options there. I'm really happy, being at East Hill and talking to people all day and listening to people's stories. And it's going to there's kind of a plan that I can't discuss, but I'll get to do more again in 2021.
Yeah.
And so if there's going to be a nice day, the other thing is that it's brutally hot out, and I already got 9,000 sunburns, and my nose isn't peeling off my face this year. So I'm having a good time. I'm finding a little more balance. I'm getting a little more time to do stuff that I want. Ashman wants to go fishing.
Plus, you're in a better mindset now.
I am. I'm a lot happier than I've ever been. And you know what? In all honesty, on the vlog, there was points in the vlog where it was becoming a job. Like, I wasn't going fishing because I wanted to go fishing or because I loved to go fishing. It was like, all right, let's go here. Like, I know I need 6 or 7 fish to make a really good vlog. And then I wasn't fishing because I wanted to go fishing. I was going fishing because
you felt you had to.
I felt I had to go.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of had to.
I do. And it got me here.
Well, it's kind of your job.
Yeah. Well, it kind of still is. But, I just don't have to go. I don't feel the need to, like, have to go tomorrow. And I used to feel the need, like, I have to go tomorrow. So I'm in a better place. I'm much happier. And I can go fishing if I want tomorrow, because if I texted Kevin right now and said I'm not coming in, he'd be like, all right, have fun.
And if he says no, just say, do you want to come?
Yeah, that does work too. That does work too. You want to go shooting? Yeah, tomorrow. Okay, sounds good. Your house? Awesome. I'll meet you there, Kevin.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm getting a lot more opportunity. We're getting I'm getting to meet some different people, and there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that's going to make fear fishing long term a lot better.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? It's unfortunate that we're not going to get 110 vlogs this year, but it'll come. It'll be worth the wait, people.
I agree.
Yes,
I agree.
There's a lot of things that are happening that I can't talk about.
Better content, a mix of content.
Yes, it's going to be a lot better. It's going to be a lot more exciting. You know what? The other thing too is that if they open that Zone 20 next year in April, I'll be able to stretch this out a little bit. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like it'll help me stretch my season out more, because I like opening day of walleye, but I'm not a 4-day-a-week fish weed edges for walleye guy. I like pike fishing, but I'm not like a 30 times a year pike guy.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm much happier.
Emma caught a pike.
Emma caught a pike.
Emma caught a pike on the weekend.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Where did you fish with Emma?
No, she went with
Isaac.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they go all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot more coming, and there's a lot more content, and there's going to be some different content, and I tell you that 2021 is going to be a really exciting year.
Yeah.
What, are you ready for a break?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, let's do this. And then we're going to call BP. That's Brandon Palaniuk. He won 3 of those from Idaho.
4 of them.
4? I think it's 3. 4?
Did you Google that? No, I know it's just 4.
Oh, I know.
I'm a BP fan.
Mike Carnegie is a financial advisor at Northstone Wealth, providing insurance solutions to protect you and your family. Investment solutions for all your needs, like your kids' education and your retirement. Get good advice from a good guy and also a fellow angler and trusted member of the Fear Fishing family.
Hi, I'm Mike Carnegie. If you want a little direction, give me a shout. 905-925-0663. See you on the water.
The Jack Links people find me. Look at this. Look at all the Jack Links. Just arrived on the water, loaded up for the rest of summer. Cases and cases of Jack Links beef jerky. I think we're ready for a little fall fishing. Nothing better than jerky and fishing.
July 30th, 2020. We are on the road again. It is a Thursday. I should be at the East Tail today, but we're making special moves. We're going on a special trip again to go fishing with my favorite fishing partner. What's up, dude?
Hey.
How's it going?
Good.
You got up super early today. Come talk to the camera. You got up super early today?
Mm-hmm.
Last time we went fishing, there was a lot of people, right? Mm-hmm. We could hardly launch the boat. Today, new lake, new plan, and since it's a Thursday, hopefully there's not so many folks out there, right? Are you hoping?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get you packed into the truck and us on the road. It's going to be a busy day. We are a little later than I normally fish for that the Ashman could sleep, but we're on the road. The lake we're going to, we fished a couple club tournaments there over the years. I won one there last year. There isn't a ton of big fish, but there's a ton of little ones. Hopefully they are biting. Hopefully the boat launch has enough water to get the big rig in, but our number one focus for the day is for Ash and I to hang out and have fun. Hopefully we got him a fish this time because last time I was a little tough on him. We are on the road. We got to get gas and then we're going. We are gassed up. We are ready to roll. Ash, you catching a big one today?
Yeah, bro.
How big? Big?
Yeah.
Like real big? Okay, we are on the road. We're going to need at least 2 hours to drive here, but then we can fish the rest of the day away. Okay, are you ready? Hey, guess what else I got you? I got you some breakfast for the drive this morning. Let's go catch some bass. Ash, you get that? Yeah. Bass, Ash, the bass?
Yeah.
Let's do this. We have made it to the lake. We've been here before on the vlog. We've been here with the Quinny Bassmasters to fish 2 tournaments. One, I won, the other one we did okay. There's not a ton of big fish, like a 3-pounder is a good fish for here. There is the odd giant, but normally there's a ton of small fish to catch in that 1.5 to 2-pound range. And that is really what that guy right there is looking for. He's just looking for numbers. He's looking to have some fun. Did you get that buckled up, dude? Here.
Daddy.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You gonna catch some fish?
Yeah.
Do you want to jump in the boat while I back it in?
Yep.
Okay, you just stay in the boat and then I can make sure you're safe. Get in your seat. We got some jacklinks there for boat breakfast. What's the plan today? Big fish?
Yeah, big fish. Want a fish?
We got to get you to land one. Last time it was really tough, but today I feel like you're gonna get one in the boat.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got to keep just plugging away, right? Fishing ain't easy. Okay, dude, this is the plan. You watch the camera and the boat. I'll back us in and I'll get us all ready to go. Tell everybody we'll be right back.
We'll be right back with you on the fishing.
You're funny. We are on the water. Ashman, Dad's a little wet, eh?
Yeah.
Dad had to go in the water because there's no water at the boat launch to get our big boat in the water. Okay, dude, what's your plan today?
I don't know.
Look right here. Are you catching fish? Are you hanging out? What are you doing?
Oh, everything. Having fun, catching fish, hanging out.
Yeah?
Eating snacks.
Well, I'm glad that I took the day off work so that you and I could do this when there wasn't a million people around.
Yeah.
Here, give me some love. Hey, let's go out and get the big one.
Yeah, the big one you didn't catch.
I didn't catch? I'm going to catch a big one. You catch little ones. Hey, fish on.
I'm aiming for a big one.
You're in for a big one? Let's see if Ash gets the big one. I just casted his line out and he got a hit. Get him, run tip up before you hit him. That was the first time, first hit. Right there. Run tip up.
Fear fishing. Making moves.
We are back with the show. We got about 15 minutes to kill before we bring on Mr. Brandon Palaniuk. So I'm going to jump right into what has been going on in our life. Last night, we tragically had to put our golden retriever down. Miss Big Bailey, who has been the guardian of this family, the babysitter of many dogs and many kids, and it was heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. She was totally fine yesterday morning. We took her to the 24-hour vet clinic because she wouldn't eat dinner, and she was acting a little strange.
And she's never missed a meal.
She's never missed a meal. Have you seen the size of Big Bailey?
She's never missed a meal.
She never missed a meal. We ran her up to the vet clinic. They let us in on the COVID watch. They took her in, and they told us that they would call us if there was something wrong. They told us to expect a 6-hour wait. They put the X-ray. They gave her some pain medication because her heart rate was over 200.
They assessed her and said that she is
And they were going to
critical.
X-ray it. I told her I didn't care what it cost. Do whatever you need to do. And then they called us right back and said that Bailey had a giant tumor on her spleen. And there was basically nothing we can do, and her organs were shutting down. And we sadly had to put her down in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. The little boy in that video today came home, and I had to tell him, and it broke his heart in a million pieces. He even brought her bones from the butcher shop home. And it has been a wild 24 hours here, and it's up and down, and I cried a lot, and I may tear up now. But we're going to talk a little bit of life, because when I get Brandon on here, Brandon is a life guy too, and he's going to talk about life. And Elite Series wins, but a whole bunch about lives. Everything happens for a reason. And it's really tough to see it, the thing. But on Friday, and I was just thinking about this, and this is why I want to jump into this. When Ashton was born, she would follow Ashton around the house. If somebody held Ashton, Bailey would go sit beside that person like it was hers. If she slept every night in the hallway outside of his crib, and if you grabbed that kid, then she'd growl at you. It's her kid. So we were sitting on my mom's deck Thursday night when he went on a vacation to see my mom. He hadn't seen her in 6 months, or David. And my mom's friend came up. And I take Casey everywhere. Bailey was getting a little old to go for a walk every day, and she couldn't get in the truck, so she couldn't come to do things. So we're sitting on the deck. And I was thinking about this during the break. We're sitting on the deck, and Ash's is the closest to the chairs. Casey was paying no attention, playing in my mom's garden. I was talking to my mom, and their friend showed up with like a bandana mask like over his face, put his bike down, and what did Miss Casey do? She got up and went and sat underneath his chair and growled at that guy. Like, this is mine. You can go up here on the deck all you want.
Bailey daughter.
You don't come near this kid. Yeah. Right? And as soon as he took his mask off and said hi to her, there was no problem. She went about her business. But I was thinking, like, last night when we had to do this, I was like, I'm really glad that Casey and Bailey got to do the 6-month jam, because Bailey taught her everything she needed to know. And this goes a lot about life. I learned a lot when Montana passed away. I got a little softer. I got a little more willing to do stuff for people. A little more, if I don't learn anything from this, you might as well just forget that dog. This happens when my grandfather passed away and my grandmother passed away, and, my favorite uncle passed away. And that all happened in the first 2 weeks of August in my life. Always had a hard time the first 2 weeks of August. My grandfather passed away August 1st. Bailey passed away August 2nd. My favorite uncle in the whole world, who I grew up farming with, passed away August 4th. And it always seemed to be kind of shitty for these 2 weeks. And in fact, as soon as we loaded Bailey in the car, I knew that where we were headed to do, right? But I was thinking upstairs, and Bailey we had for 10.5 years. And now we have Casey, whose first instinct when something bad happened was to protect the kid. Right? That's a big thing. And that's a big thing for me, and it's been really tough. And right before we did the show, I called Ash on FaceTime to make sure he was all right. And I never seen the kid as happy as he was to catch that fish, but I never seen him cry like he did today either when I was trying to tell him what happened in the driveway, and he was trying to get in the house to see if she was here. So
he tried to give her all the bones that he bought for her.
Yeah. So it's really tough. And you know what? If you have a dream, or you have somebody you're sitting beside right now, really, really appreciate it, because the whole Bailey thing, she, like I said, she ate breakfast yesterday morning. She went for a walk. She was perfectly fine.
Danced for her food every meal.
And it took less than 3 hours. So we weren't at the vet in an hour. They told us we were going to have a 6-hour wait, and we had the dog x-rayed, put her down, and we're driving home in less than an hour last night. So things can change in an instant. You guys just went through the same thing, right?
Yeah. And it was life-changing, let me tell you.
No, for sure. I had Bailey, Montana for 15 and a half years and Bailey for 10 and a half years. And it's like an end of an era, right? They're both going to sit up on the mount upstairs in their urns. And someday Amber and I are going to buy a farm and a place we plan to stay, and I'll bury them there so that they're always with us. But until then, they can sit up there, and something ever tragic happens to me, you can just roll them in with me, and I'll look after them. But it's kind of like skipping this part because I didn't want to get upset. But the other thing I wanted to thank everybody for was the messages. Because when I drove Ash to his mom's tonight, he was crying in the car, and I know I'm not supposed to, but I let him ride in. He was crying in the backseat of my truck, and I felt so bad. I told him that he could jump at the stoplight into the front seat. And I let him read all the messages out loud that everybody had sent to us. And he wanted me to thank everybody for saying this for him. Because it really made him feel a lot better that people cared.
Well, that's a big part of it. We're all in this community together, and we've got a lot of people that watch this show that are our friends.
Yeah.
That
they're not just fans or followers.
No.
The stories that people have told me at East Hill.
Most of the people that watch the show are our friends.
Well, just today we were stopped on the side of the road because the truck broke down, and a fan stopped and asked if we were okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's Mark? Did you say where's Mark?
He did. So and that's a true story. The truck overheated today and we need a water pump, and the good folks at R&J Tire will take care of that this week. But I was limping her home with the four ways on, and a guy pulled over, and I thought he was a stranger, and he asked if we needed anything, and I said no, I'm just going to limp her back to Port Hope. And he was like, oh, I know you live in Port Hope, and fan of the show, and it really. It really sinks in that moment when the little guy's sitting in the front seat of the car and he's reading hundreds of comments of people saying, I'm really
people care.
People care, and it's a really big thing. And you guys all said to me, Woody, and you too, that we don't have to do the show tonight, but it's really important we do the show because if everybody took some time out to say that they cared about us, it was really important that Amber and I did this show tonight because I know that people look forward to hearing what we have to say and when we think about stuff. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who sent the messages because it meant a lot to me and Amber, but it also, and Emma, but it made a huge impact on little Ashton today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, well said. Thanks for sharing that with us, buddy.
No problem. It's tough. If you like it,
it's crazy.
It is tough.
Everybody in this room has lost a dog in the last little bit. You know what I mean?
Mine was similar to yours. Like, no notice.
Amazing.
The kids never got to say goodbye. My wife never got to say goodbye. It was just like that. From being a puppy, basically, acting like one. She was 13 and a half.
It makes you think how definite this world is. It can be over for any of us in 3 hours.
In a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like, the first, as soon as we and I'm going to be quite open. You and I had a rough 2 days. We'd done quite a bit of arguing over stupid stuff that really doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. Relationship stuff that everybody goes to. Everybody who messages and says, wow, it's really great that you and Amber have this such amazing relationship. Well, Amber and I have the same relationship everybody else on the planet does. We don't always smile. We argue. As soon as we put the dog down, we were both crying in the car. I apologized, and I said, I can't believe how stupid I was to argue about anything. There's nothing in the whole world worth arguing about because I can't even remember what we were arguing about.
Right.
Because it's
the truth.
Now we're just hugging each other crying, and this sucks because we should have been petting the dog.
Yeah.
Right? And like, honest. So I hope this, this little bit of glimpse into, facts with Ian West, life facts with Ian West.
Life lessons.
That's right. And, I'm somebody who's had to learn everything the hard way.
Very hard way.
I'm like,
you can put me in that category.
An easy path to victory, and I just got to keep going out here to learn my lessons. But it's worth, you don't have to learn lessons from me. But if you're sitting beside somebody right now, or there's a dog in front of you, give them a pet, or tell whoever's beside you that you love them. Guys.
I love you, Ian.
Thank you. I love you too. Oddly.
I do love you.
I know you do.
I do.
You know, that's the thing about having best friends is you don't have to talk to each other every day, but you know they're there if you need them.
Always.
You guys want to call Brandon?
Yeah, we do.
Brandon who?
He's got me blocked.
BP? He's got me blocked. I'm sorry. This may not go through either. I try not to harass him during events. You think he's 1, 3, or 4?
4.
I think it's 3, but I could
think
be
it's
wrong.
4.
I know he's got 2 same
You are
words.
wrong.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Palaniuk.
Oh,
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good.
No doubt you're doing good.
You're doing most excellent.
Hey, when you become a Bassmaster Elite Series champion, do they pay in cash or a check? Do you just like fire all that money in your rod lockers and stuff, or you got to just go to the bank?
Say that again. Sorry, I was switching over to my headphones.
No worries. When you become Mr. Lake Champlain Bassmaster Elite Series champion, do they just hand you $100,000 in cash, or do you got to get a check?
I requested cash, but unfortunately I got a check, and then I asked for a Happy Gilmore check, and I couldn't even get that. Piece of paper.
Who can we complain to? There's got to be something.
Wouldn't that be wild? Just like a briefcase after an event? Like Chip's got it handcuffed to his wrist?
Right.
Mark, man.
That'd be interesting.
Dude, you've had a big 2 weeks. Let's start with the St. Lawrence. Like, man, you guys, you've been on a roll. Some valuable. Yeah, things are going good. Like this smallmouth swing is looking good for you.
Yeah. All I can say is I love New York.
Is that going to be a bumper sticker you stick on your boat now?
No, I don't think I'm quite there yet.
No?
But I do tend to like this state quite a bit. I don't know. It's just something special about getting to be able to chase smallmouth and some of the best fisheries in the world. St. Lawrence River is just unreal. And that was actually, I had a good finish, but it was a super grind for me. I thought when they moved it to Clayton and they opened up the lake, I was like, man, I've got a shot to win this thing. And it was weird. Like I looked a lot in the lake. I spent 3 days of practice in the lake, and I never found like those big groups of fish of the right size that I felt comfortable with. And I spent like half a day of practice in the river and had like 24 pounds. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'll fish in the river some. And, I ended up splitting my time between the lake and the river. And on paper, it looked good, 10th place finish.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of a grind for me. And the last day was one of the most frustrating days I've ever had on the water because I could see 4 to 6 pounders swimming around everywhere on the shallow flat. Like they're swimming around my boat. They're swimming around Kyle's camera boat. Like literally 4 to 6 pounders swimming everywhere. And the wind has kicked up so much algae and moss off of the rocks that you couldn't make a cast. Like as soon as you would cast, it would hit the water, and on its way to the bottom, it would have slime all over. The fish would swim over,
I
look at it, and swim away. And finally, I just had to leave because I was going to pull all my hair out.
Yeah, no doubt. I've done quite a bit of fishing out in that area.
To leave there and come to Champlain.
Yeah. I've done quite a bit of fishing out in that Lake Ontario basin, and it can be the most frustrating. Like when you can see them and they just won't bite anything, or they get suspended, and you're like, how do I even throw a bait at that fish that's in 10 feet of water and he's 3 feet under the surface and he won't move? It's frustrating as heck. Like you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Now go.
And day 3, I rolled up on that flat and I caught 2 5-pounders in the last 15 minutes and cold up.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, I'm gonna have a fun day 4. And it didn't even cross my mind that the wind and the waves would kick up all that algae off the bottom. it shocks me, and it was frustrating, but still a good event.
Yeah, and it was a terrible wind for day 4. It was like the worst wind direction that you could have on that lake on day 4, was it not?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, it's usually pretty good for the river.
Yeah.
Because it forces those fish to position. But the river was just fishing weird that week, where they weren't setting up like they normally do. And I felt that way kind of in the lake too. And I found some good stuff out there. But just never really got in a groove out there.
We just got off the phone with Chris Johnston, who won the event. He was saying when he was going into the event, he thought 22 to 23 pounds a day, no problem. That's what it's going to take. And he was really surprised because after day 1, he was like, I need more. And then day 2, he was like, wow, I'm going to need more. What did you think? You know, you won one of those events before. What were you thinking when you were going into the event where that target number would be a day to pull this off?
I thought fairly similar, 22 to 23 a day would win. But that just shows, but the kicker or the curveball there was the lake, having the lake open. And the fact that we were launching right there in Clayton. And we had 3 beautiful days the first 3 days of the tournament.
Yep.
And so, that lake is just so special with how many big ones are in it.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Know that it's as good as it used to be, or the fish are getting smarter, but there's still so many big ones that's why those weights were as big as they were.
Well, I think the fishery is good. I know from personal experience because of the COVID deal and nobody working that I could name 150 guys who would go there once a year or twice, who have been there 3 times a week since it opened on the Canadian side. So I'm assuming on the American side, there's been lots of guys who are like, well, I'm going to go every day. So it's quite possible that more of those fish have been hooked this year than before because guys have got more time.
Yeah, definitely one of the most interesting things that I heard Chris say when he was weighing in was the fact that those fish have already became boat shy.
Yeah. No, and the water warmed up a lot faster.
On top of them like you used to, and I noticed that.
Yeah.
During the week, like when you would drive over fish, usually they would just stay there, and you would drop on them, and they would come up like 5 feet to your bait, and sometimes eat it before it hit the bottom. And when we were there, a lot of times your boat would start to slide over them, and you'd see them drop into the bottom already.
Gotcha.
Or disappearing outside of the cone. So it was interesting to see kind of that evolution of it.
Well, Lake Ontario is also at record temperatures now.
Yeah.
The lake has never been this hot this early in the season.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy because I've been. We went the week after opener, and there was hardly any fish on the beds, and I've been there on the 3rd week of July, and there's been fish on beds.
Well, we had a super cold start to the season too. Remember, in June we had that one hot week, and then it dropped right off super cold for 2 weeks, and then it got crazy, right? Then the heat wave came.
Someone turned the microwave on.
Right? Yeah, we had was it 10 days in a row over 40?
Yeah, it's crazy.
40 degrees.
It's more like Jamaica than it is Ontario.
I said that to you. I said it feels like Jamaican weather.
What's it like back home in Idaho? Hot?
It's actually been super hot this last week. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been there in forever now. Everyone at home I've talked to this week says it's been like triple digits.
How many of these elite?
It's been like 100.
Oh, that's hot. How many of these Elite Series events you won now?
4.
You're wrong.
I win.
Oh, I'm like an old veteran.
Name all 4. I thought it was 3. What 4 have you won?
I won Bull Shoals 2012, St. Lawrence 2013, Sam Rayburn 2017, and then Lake Champlain.
That's incredible. I forgot about the Bull Shoals. Now we also talked about Chris, and Chris is the first Canadian to ever win what is it like to be the first guy from Idaho to ever win? Because we were talking with Chris about Idaho's not the capital of bass fishing in the United States. You're kind of out of the way. Was it a big deal when you won and you came home with that trophy?
Yeah, probably similar to like the feeling that Chris got last week. It feels cool to win it from a place that you're not supposed to be a bass fisherman from.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to be a tournament bass fisherman from like where we come from, and so that's a really cool thing. Like it has grown crazy popular. Like I know you've seen it around your area.
Yeah.
But in the northern part of Idaho, it has just exploded with how many young kids we have.
Amazing.
I think 3 of the 4 high schools have fishing teams now. And
shout out to Becker's Bait Shop.
Old Becker's Tackle Shop getting it done there.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
The local hangout.
Yeah. I follow that on Instagram. Yeah, I bet you I would. But and we were talking also, Corey and Chris live real close compared to you. Again, like how what's the closest event that you actually drive to from home?
The closest one I've had in 10 years was Lake Oahe, and it's 1,000 miles from my house.
Yeah, right?
How many days is that?
And that's the closest one we've ever had.
So
Lake Champlain is a 55-hour drive from my house.
Right?
Wow.
So realistically, Lake Champlain for 10 hours. We could leave right now. We could be there in less than 10 hours.
We could drive to Texas and back.
Yeah.
From where we are.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We could. Yeah.
So if you think about
puts it into perspective.
that, do you know what I mean? So everybody listening at home who thinks that like Corey and Chris, that like they're far away. They're nowhere even close to like
how far away Brandon
is.
Are you home now, Brandon?
He just finished a tournament yesterday.
No, but I don't know if they would fly home and leave the boat somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I could have flown home like this, but no, we're hanging out in the RV.
Nice. Now, and before we get to you, we're going to talk to your win in a second. You gave a lot of props to the team that you're a part of. Can you talk more about that? For like I saw in your post that you were talking about the team one, and anybody who hasn't listened before, what the team means to you.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the team consists of Tiffany, is my girlfriend, and she's definitely the head of the team.
Good call.
Good call. Yeah, smart play.
Smart move, bud.
The glue that holds the team together, and kind of runs, keeps everything running in the background.
Yeah.
All the camper stuff, all the little day-to-day odds and ends of stuff that allows me to focus on fishing. Work on tackle, and she's in the camper prepping lunches and making sure we got good healthy meals and dinners and things like that, and that makes a huge difference to not have to worry about those things. Just that little every day in and day out stuff saves me 2 hours a day.
Yep.
So that's 2 hours more I can focus on fishing. And then the other part of the team is our cameraman, Kyle, a.k.a. Dandy Hammer.
What is it? Dandy Hammer?
Like 2.5 years ago, didn't know anything about tournament bass fishing, and we just threw him in a boat and said, have at it. And he went from filming weddings to bass tournaments and nothing but filmed bass fishing for 2.5 years, and actually fished his first Central Open tournament at the Arkansas River a few weeks ago.
He's a hammer now. Is he off the gummy bear fishing, like the gummy worms? Is he off the gummy worms, or is he using real baits now?
Yeah, he's using real bait. He actually can even throw a bait caster now. Surprisingly.
Doing better than me.
Mark on his
Actually, Actually, I threw a bait cast all day today.
That's all. It really is a team effort when you live 55 hours from home, right?
Yeah, I mean, we all stay in the camper together, and like it's just like we do everything together when we're out here. I just got done whooping both of them in a game of putt-putt golf that you guys called. So Kyle was talking a bunch of smack and how I used all my mojo this week, and then he finished last. Smoked him, so
now
I talked a lot of smack for getting his butt whooped that bad. But
is he sitting right there, like with that smirk on his face?
Me, that's what it's all about. It really is. It's a team. I could be out here by myself doing it, and it's not as enjoyable.
I feel you, my man. Now,
I got an interesting comment here.
Oh, throw it out there.
Kyle Vanendel on YouTube said, when Brandon called in his own penalty and still won the event on the St. Lawrence, that was the time he dialed in on him.
Really?
That was when he became a huge fan. I'd like to know about that.
Did you hear that, Brandon?
Yeah, that he did that.
No, he dialed in. That's when when you did
it.
That's when he became a huge fan. BP is one of the nicest on and off the water guys. We actually talked. I sent one text message on Saturday night, and I was like, "Hey, I heard you got into the top 10." And would you texted me back? Said, "Yeah, I'm only a pound and a half back." Right? Like, man, you were right there.
Yeah.
So you're Mr. Honesty. The last time you faced adversity, you won the St. Lawrence. You just told me that you had the toughest day 4 in your whole career. How did you roll into Champlain on the mindset? Because you seem to be the comeback kid here. Like, a top 10 finish is amazing and super awesome, but it's I know that it's not what you want to see. You want to see a first place at every single event you fish. You had the toughest day on your life. How do you jump right back on the horse, and how did you get there?
I think I've always had the ability, or I guess I've just been wired my entire life. Like, when I have some sort of adversity or hardship or something, instead of backpedaling, it makes me dive in deeper. And I get like hyper focused at the next event or whatever it may be. And it just becomes like an extra driving force for me. And almost like it's hard to say it like without sounding like you're some cocky asshole guy, but
it's all right.
It's like I get in the mode of just like, screw all the rest of you, I'm gonna win. Like, that's the mindset I get, and it doesn't come from like having anything against anyone else. It's based on my own performances. So it's kind of like,
you're really not fishing against.
Catch them better than that the next event.
That's a mindset of a champion.
That's
dude.
right. And the reality of fishing is you're not fishing against other competitors. You're fishing against the fish, right? Like, you all you got to do is figure your own game out and knock the pants off them each day, and you'll win. It has nothing to do with any of the other 79 guys in the field.
Well, it depends if you're sharing water with those guys, I think.
Brandon,
right? You got so if somebody else shows up on your water and you guys are going to rub rails, I think you got to outfish the other angler there on that spot.
Robin's racing.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's just every situation is different when you get into that. Like, if both guys roll up there day 1, first thing in the morning, you both obviously found it. And then the best thing you do is you just work together.
Yeah.
I mean, and it depends. Like, I mean, day 1 of the tournament, I caught like 17 or 18 pounds in like the first hour, and Carl rolled up, not like on another spot that I was fishing that week, and he hadn't caught one yet. He's like, mate, there's people on all my water and everything, and
I just told him, I was like, dude, just come make a drift through here.
Yeah.
If they're here, just catch them. Like, I'll get out of the way. Just, come through here.
That's very nice of you.
To me,
That's pretty big. Yeah.
That's sportsmanship.
Yeah.
I got a question on
it is
Facebook
all about
from
that.
I got a question on Facebook from George Kufas. He wants to know, is this win more gratifying after going to the MLF and coming back to Bass?
Well, that's a good question.
I've actually had that question a couple times in the last few days, which I hadn't even thought about, honestly. I wouldn't say that it's more gratifying, but what it did for me is it solidified that I'm exactly where I should be.
Yep.
And so that came from not the winning side of it, but the emotion and the feeling that I had throughout day 4, and then as I was handed the trophy.
Like day 4 was an unbelievable.
It was unreal.
That's what solidified it.
Yeah, day 4 was an insane day for you. You were out on that big flat and fishing all those isolated boulders, right?
Yeah, day 4 was one of the most insane days of smallmouth fishing I've ever had. It obviously wasn't the biggest bag I've ever had. But one thing that I love about fishing is that it's all relative. I mean, depending on the body of water you're at, different size fish mean different things. And so I knew that when I was catching 4 to 4.5 pounders consistently on almost every single rock that I rolled up on, that something special was happening. And I knew that I had ran into a group of fish that don't normally live there.
And what was the X-Zone bait that you were using?
The what?
The X-Zone drop shot bait that you were using. What X-Zone drop shot bait was that?
It was the Finesse Slammer. And I actually threw 2 colors last week. Normally I'm not super picky on colors, but I could definitely tell a difference. The first 2 days I caught them better on Big Limit. It's the color in Finesse Slammer. And then I started throwing that on day 3, and I was dropping on some fish, and I had caught a few, but I really had to work them to get them to bite. And I was like, or I actually had missed one, or had a small one throw my bait off, and I saw a good arch on my graph. I picked up the green pumpkin blue fleck, and I dropped it on that fish I saw, and it came up and went down and ate it instantly. I was like, huh. And so I just kept fishing with that green pumpkin blue, and I could noticeably tell that they reacted to it better. And then I started with that on day 4, and they just continued to chomp it. But days 1 and 2, I was throwing that because in practice I had caught a lot on the green pumpkin blue, and they weren't reacting to it as well as they were the Big Limit. So it was pretty cool to be able to kind of figure that out throughout the event and be able to adjust like that.
How many colors will you cycle through until you is there you just keep switching baits or colors of that bait until you find one that works, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, I'm not super picky, but it's definitely easier when you're dropping on them because you can actually see how the fish reacts to the bait. If you're just casting out there, you don't really know if there's a fish out there following your bait or not. But if you're just dropping on them, then you can see how that fish reacts. Do they swim up to it and follow it down and eat it right away, or do they not react at all, or do they just slowly follow it down? And I pay attention to all those little clues and just kind of backlog them in my brain. And when you see the same pattern over and over again, then you're able to make those adjustments
Sometimes it can be a color change. Sometimes it can be a bait change. Like something as simple as going from a finesse slammer to a slim slammer. It's just a little bit different shape, and 4 inches instead of 3¼ inches. Like just little changes like that. Some days can even be the changing factors.
We've talked a lot about how the story means a lot over text messages and over the years. I just heard that you went from the most frustrating Sunday of smallmouth fishing on Lake Ontario to 7 days later having the most amazing day on Champlain. How do you deal with the ups and downs of doing what you do? Do you just go with the flow when it's good? Do you like?
It's honestly what breaks most people in this sport is the ups and downs, because there's no getting away from it. You're gonna have them. It's just the nature of the beast in the sport, and there's too many variables that you can't control that cause that, and so you just have to learn to live with those. And my buddy at Alpha Angler always says, you're only as good as your last golf swing, or you're only as good as your last cast.
Yep.
And so you just got to keep casting. And I've had buddies before that feel like they're getting in a slump, what do I do? How do I get out of this slump? Whatever. I'm like, dude, you just have to keep fishing.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is go somewhere that you can just absolutely crush them and get your confidence back, and the rest will take care of itself. Because at this level, mechanically, everyone is at a very similar level.
Yep.
Some guys are better at certain things than others, and vice versa. But the mentality of it and the decision-making process is what separates guys.
That is very well said. And I think that there's probably a lot of young people listening right now that, it isn't always going to be, rainbows and horseshoes blowing out your ass. Getting over yesterday and on to today is a big thing, right? Do you know, like it really is, whether it's on the water or life, right? Yes, like yesterday's shitty news is kind of tomorrow's like adversary, right? You can make a decision when you get up that I'm gonna go on and I'm not gonna quit, and a little bit of tunnel vision, which we've seen twice from you, twice in the when it all seemed to be over, Brandon gets it done in a jam, right? And
Yep.
It's a long road from Idaho to Champlain, right?
Yeah, you can say that. 55 hours.
Not bad. Anyways, dude, I want to thank you so much. I got one last question for you because we brought this up earlier, and you haven't won a classic yet. I bet anything. I'd bet the FearFishing Battle Wagon, the whole 9 yards, that someday you are going to win a Bassmaster Classic. You've been an Angler of the Year, and now you're a 4-time winner of the Bassmaster Elite Trophy. Which one do you rank the most important? Is the Angler of the Year is it elite events, or do you still think the pinnacle of this is for you to win a classic? Probably been asked this 100 times.
I don't know. I think it depends on when they happen in your life.
Yep.
Like what stage in your life or in your career they happen. Because for me, each elite event has meant something different. The AOY meant something different, because I was known for the guy who was inconsistent.
Yep.
That was like hero or zero. And so to win an AOY was proof that I could be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's kind of how I feel about a classic. Like, when it's the right time, things will line up and it will happen. And you just can't force you just can't force it to happen. And I feel like when I quit trying to force things into happen or putting so much pressure on them that they like feeling like they need to happen, that then everything starts to fall into place. And that's really like a big part of why last week worked out as well as it did, is just mentally I was in a really good place of like after my practice, I knew that I had found fish that would at least give me a shot. And I was confident that if I just caught 5 fish each day, they were going to be big enough I would cash a check. So that wasn't even a concern. It was just whether they were going to be 3-pounder or like 3.5 pounders, or were they going to be 4-pounders?
Yeah.
And, when you get to that place where you're not trying to force things to happen, you just kind of let them unfold. I think it allows you to focus better, and it allows you to kind of dig in and just allow those things to happen, because you just can't force them. And I didn't understand that early in my career, and a million people could have told me that, and I still wouldn't have understood it until you actually live it. Because I've had days that everything has went right, or tournament weeks that everything has went right, perfectly executed, caught bigger bags every single day, and still got beat.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like yesterday, I lost more fish on that final day than I did the first 3 days of the tournament, but still caught the biggest bag that I had all week.
Yep.
And won. So, like, when it's your time, it doesn't matter what goes wrong. It's just going to happen.
And I think Fighter called it yesterday. I believe it was Fighter who said whoever catches the biggest bag today is going to win the tournament. And that's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a one-day shootout. The weights were way too close, for it to be anything else. It was like a 10-man boxing match.
It was incredible from a spectator point of view, let me tell you. You guys put on one hell of a show, and thank you.
I'll bet.
Brendan, you're a gem of an angler and an even better human being. Thank you so much for taking the time out. I got one last question for you, and all I need is a yes or no answer. With the Elite Series going so far into fall, will Brendan Palaniuk make a return to whitetail and tree stand hunting?
Probably not. Unfortunately, probably not this year. It's really jacking up my hunting season.
Yeah, no doubt, my man.
About it.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this, my man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Have a great night. Say hi to the rest of the team for us.
All right, we'll do.
Okay, man. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Congratulations again.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
That man right there is a gem of a human being. If anybody was ever to look up to anybody in the fishing world, that's the guy right there to do.
Yeah, for those two guys to come on the show tonight, and I imagine they're just being hounded
to do this,
by people right now, for them to take the time out and come to our show. We appreciate it so much.
We really do. It really does. And no, neither one of them had to do that for any of us.
No.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to some of my favorite people in the whole world too. Brandon and Chris will be on Straycasts on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I believe it starts at 8 p.m.
Amazing podcast.
Podcast. And I tell you, they will ask none of the same questions we do. Pat is going to light this up.
Yeah.
Pat is going to ask nothing but inappropriate, head-twisting questions. And Pat is one of my favorites. So if you really enjoy this and talking to Brandon and Chris, you're really going to enjoy Wednesday night, because I'm telling you, you won't ask the same questions. Straycasts. They are beauties.
They are great.
Oh my gosh, they are great. They always give us shout outs.
Got to hang out with them at the Top Golf at the Classic.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Pat is a great guy in the whole crew.
Beauties.
The Ginger Ninja. Oh my God. It's been a long day. It's been a long 2 days.
It's been a very long weekend.
It has. Let's get right into final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Okay.
Woody was ready.
Since we're talking about, all this life lesson stuff and life changing stuff, I learned a life lesson today. Do not tell your wife you're going to be home around 4. If you know you're not going to be home around 4, it's better off to tell her you're going to be home at 7 and be home at 4:30 and be a champion.
That's good advice.
That's not what happened today. That's not what happened.
Didn't we go shooting about a week and a half ago, and you were supposed to be home at 3, and you showed up?
We got
about
home at
8?
9:30. Yeah, that was Sean's fault. Really,
You should have learned that life lesson 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, apparently somebody's still sour.
Amber.
I don't know. You sprung that on me really fast.
Do you want us to come back to you?
No. I
You
don't
never
have
get to
one.
come back to me when I
am-
stumble.
Yeah, but you do all right.
I'm still in shock about the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was devastating.
Yeah, it'll be all right. We'll make it through it.
I know.
We're like
She was
Brandon's,
the best dog ever.
She was really the best dog ever. And we're 7 days from now. We're gonna be kicking ass's life.
And she was one of the fattest dogs ever.
She
too.
was.
Yeah, but you know what? That fat was obviously a tumor.
Well, no.
That's the shitty part.
You know what? For the first 10 years, it probably wasn't a tumor. That dog ate real well and, wasn't big keen on exercise.
She ate a couch.
You know, it didn't matter how fat she
chicken
was.
wings
You know
or
what?
how much
Yeah.
it hurt, she'd still come over and see us
Oh,
as
hell
we walked
yeah.
in the door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know
Without
what?
doubt.
Happy to see everybody.
I had Bailey since she was 8 weeks old, and in no time in her life did she ever inspire to be a bird dog.
She was not a retriever at all. She was a
No.
getter and runawayer.
But you know what? Since we're talking about this, is I have a ton of fires out the backyard illegally in Port Hope. And
Legally.
that dog,
Nightly.
and through COVID, I had a fire every night. I bought so many bags of wood.
Yep.
And that dog loved fires more than anything in the world, and she would never, ever go in before me.
Nope.
The other two, even Montana would ditch me. Casey will ditch me now. Chili goes in as soon as it gets dark. But Billy would lay out there till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I would have to get up and be like, all right, we're going in. Never once. So if, this is not my final thought. Well, maybe it is my final thought. If there is anything that I'm really glad that happened through this COVID thing, is that in March when it was cold, I put my winter coat on, and that dog and I went out and did this every night for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
We drank a lot of beer, but we had a good time.
Right.
Okay, I drank a lot of beer, and I talked to the dog a lot. Anyway, Sean?
My final thought? Time. That's all you have.
Mm-hmm.
Don't waste it.
Get married and a dog all in the same day.
Yeah, well.
Talk about not wasting time.
And tell your friends in one sentence.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Don't waste it, man. I'm not going to waste it.
This is the part of the show where we all feel silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a busy week, but never give up on the things that make you smile.
I agree. I'm telling you right now, if you're still tuned into this silly little show we do in my basement, to hug the person that's beside you, pat the dog, and don't worry about the little things. We're all in the same thing together. Like I feel that social media sometimes puts people in positions where they don't think they're as good as other people, and we're all comparing ourselves, and social media is kind of shitty. We're all in the same situation. I will tell you that everybody fights with their wife. Everybody loses something. Nobody is well off as it looks they are. And if they have lots of money, then they have other problems. And if they're doing really well in tournaments, their wife's probably not really happy at home, and it doesn't look as sweet as it is all the time. The good part about social media is we can all say nice things to each other. We can all give each other a pat on the back. And we can all be honest about the good times and the bad times. Have a great night. I appreciate everybody who tuned into this silly little show we do. Chris Johnston, Canada's first Bassmaster Elite Series winner.
Woohoo!
Thank you so much for taking in the time. And Mr. Brandon Palaniuk, who is one of my favorite people on earth.
Very true.
Thank you. Have a great night.
It's true.
Tiffany and Kyle, thanks for putting up with them. You're a heck of a team. Later, guys.
see its days. Believe me when I say that the people will unite as one. The fight is never done until the right has overcome and the wrong is washed away. My soul, my heart, you stole with the lies that you told.